Hello everybody, my name is Brad-Duct Tape-Hale, and welcome to Ask a Cosplayer. Today's vlog is going to be nice and special because it marks the fact that this channel has 2,500 subscribers. Yes, that is correct, 2,500 subscribers. I just want to take this chance to thank you all for the wonderful fact that 2,500 of you guys have subscribed to this channel. And we have a milestone that we're going to be reaching soon, and hopefully we can film something nice for it. We're getting really close to the point at which we can. We are about like 75,000 views away from when Bonnie is at home, getting ready to reach the 1 million mark. And that is especially thanks to all you guys for sharing it. Every day I click on in and see the fact it's been shared multiple times. Really hoping that we can do a When Bonnie is at Home 2 or something else along the line with that when the cosplays are completed. We will have Freddie, Bonnie, and not Bonnie, Freddie, Chica, and Foxy all at Anime Central in Chicago and Rosemont mid-May. So if anyone's going on in there, we will have all three of those costumes there. I know I've come across a lot of you guys that watch this at conventions. A lot of people play it over and over again. A lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's fans and anything like this. But yes, Freddy and Chica and Foxy will be at Anime Central that you guys will see on in there. Also, another parody video I'm going to be doing soon. If anyone has ever seen Markiplier, this is a video of the top 10 things Mark does when not making YouTube videos. I'm going to be doing a parody video called Top 10 Things I Do When Not Cosplaying Markiplier. So it's a little cosplay parody. It's some cute, some not too big, but I'm going to be working on it. So I hope to have that up in a couple weeks. But I threw a thing out on Facebook the other night, and I had asked people to ask me some like any kind of cosplay related questions or anything like that, and I received quite a bit. So I'm going to try and answer what I can tonight, see what we can do, and we will go from there. So, all right, first question was asked by Shelby. Question is, how do you get your cosplay senpai to notice you? First off, right off the bat, tits usually work. Second off, if that doesn't work, pizza works. Or I often find, in all seriousness, cosplay senpai, a lot of people do the whole, what is the kohai senpai kind of thing like that. And to me, I find it's very much kind of a teacher-apprentice kind of thing. And with cosplay, it's a lot of crafting. Building, sewing, sculpting. It's artistic. And it's very much kind of like an apprenticeship. And to me, the kohai senpai kind of thing is when I first got into cosplay back about officially 10 years ago now. There was a cosplayer I looked right up to right off the bat, and it stayed there for a while. But we all learned to grow. His name was Zach Naggetts, otherwise known as Stripper Vash. And I got really big into Trigun when I first got in there, and I kind of looked to see how he built his stuff and stuff like that. And I guess people sit and say it's like, oh, it's kind of a role model or it's kind of a senpai-esque kind of thing. Usually it's the only senpai kohai thing kind of works kind of when they notice you back. And I guess, I don't know, I guess after a couple of years, I think Zach did kind of notice me, but nothing officially. And then later on, I kind of looked up a lot, or kind of senpai kind of thing with EX Shadow, Kyle Mathis, and everything like that. And he taught me a lot of tricks that helped improve my cosplay stuff like that, and just went from there. Now, if you want like celebrity kind of stuff, I kind of noticed something like that, kind of like I don't know, kind of what I've been doing the past couple years, where I was just like, hey, I like this actor, and like I'm gonna get him to notice me. Kind of like how I killed off DC Douglas on the internet last year. That was fun. Check my Facebook out; you guys will find that. That made for an interesting Youmacon. So, all right, to get your senpai to notice you, bribery works. Or do as I do and make a cosplay so outlandishly big and large. Just anyone at the con's going to notice you. So, alright, so the next question is, how do you get those lights into such things as Freddy and the dual disc, and how do they function? Okay. The lights that I had in my Freddy Fazbear head weren't technically lights at all. It was EL wire. And what I did is that I took it on the inside of the head and I spooled it. Kind of like a circular shape, and I had it to where it basically circled the eye. Then I had it where it circled the other eye, and then I had it where it circled the mouth. And I got a power pack with EL wire that was about 10 feet long, and that encompassed all about it. And that way what I did is I touched the top of the power thing was sitting on top of my head, and it flashed and anything like that, and like if anyone watches any or plays any of the Five Nights at Freddy games, you see the fact that the eyes will flash. And that was the only thing I had at the time when I built the original Freddy head that oscillated like that. You can get LEDs that pulse or anything like that. I can't wire, so I mean I have to work with what I can. Now inside the dual disc or anything like that, that's just simple LED. Again, that's just something you just learn how to wire or solder or anything like that. I mean it's something like you watch tutorials on YouTube or anything like that and you can work with it. But I mean, that's simply all I did. The second one's the one I did for the live action Five Nights at Freddy's. That was a basic wedding LED. It's the one that I used later for the Foxy eyes that you guys will see, or you've seen in my pictures, to where if you screw it on, because you screw it on, turn on, screw it off, turn off, kind of like an old flashlight. But if you screw it on part of the way, it connects just enough that the light will flicker. And that's why I used them that way, because they're like the little LEDs you put in decorative bowls or anything for the wedding thing, and it lights up, it's pretty, and anything like that. But I wanted the flicker effect of old malfunctioning tech, and like anytime you see like an old light bulb or an old animatronic at a carnival or a fair or anything like that, you see it kind of flickers. And when we basically first took the first test run for Foxy, which was at Indiana Comic Con this year, I drove down at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and it was foggy and it was dark, and Foxy's head was sitting in the back of my car because I was delivering it to the girlfriend, and it was flickering and kind of like out of nowhere, so it was kind of fucking creepy. But beyond that, it's just, that's one of the best ways I suggest doing it. And you can find them in like Hobby Lobbies or Joann's or Michael's, and they're usually in the wedding section, and it's just they're tiny, like itty bitty tiny little LEDs that just screw on. They take like hearing aid batteries, so I mean it's cheaper to buy a replacement pack of them than to buy new batteries. That's my best suggestion. So all right, well the next question we have here is all right, the previous question was from Aaron. Okay, so the next question is from Garrett. Okay, he says, what is probably the best material when it comes to making weapons? Guns, swords, or any other random fighting items? Gauntlets, any other props for a character? Okay, there's a wide range of which we can go with this, and I'll do the gist of it in the smaller version. To me, anytime if I want to make a nice little fancy sword or anything like that for my character, is that I will use a basic wood pine base. I will cut and trim it out. I will layer it out with craft foam or EVA foam for depth or anything like that. Sculpt it out with an X-Acto knife or a utility knife. And then I will layer it out with Mod Podge, and I will do the matte finish, not the gloss finish. Layer about 3 layers on each side, so seal it in nice and strong. Sand it down, get it nice and smooth. You put it in the groove or depth or whatever you want to, or anything like that. And then I paint it out. And then I take a nice like clear coat sealant and seal it all the way down. Now that's just how I make swords. If you want to do like guns or anything like that, I mean there's been a lot of times where hey, you want a gun for a project like that, you get a hold of me. It's just I can usually find the airsoft gun that matches it. Or 9 times out of 10 people will take like Nerf guns and modify them or build onto them, and to me it's just you can simply like add EVA or craft foam to it, Mod Podge it, and it makes it solid. You'd be surprised of the soft, squishy craft foam that you played with as a kid, how much that could actually be used to make armor, or EVA foam or floor mat foam or so on and so whatnot. I've seen people do like Warbler or Wonderflex or whatnot, and to me that's kind of expensive. I mean, unless you really want a super fancy weapon prop, to me, I've gone to conventions for like 10 plus years, and it's just, I can get it looking nice enough for under 40-50 bucks. I'm gonna make it look nice enough under 40-50 bucks, and anyone who messes with Warbler or Wonderflex knows the fact that that stuff's not cheap. Now, don't get me wrong, people like Yaya Han and Jay Nigri or Jessica Nigri or whatever have money to blow to where they're like, oh, I'm walking around with a $200-300 prop. That's your choice. If you want to dump money into that and do that, I mean, I suggest that. To me, Warbler is icing on the cake on a lot of things like that. But I've always been a firm believer if they can make it for that price, I can make it for something a lot cheaper, and it would still look as good. Now, stuff like gauntlets or anything like that, or like guns. I mean, to me, airsoft guns always work best. I mean, 99% of the time, I can find you an airsoft gun that is pretty damn close, or a toy gun at Dollar General that's super close, that's like legal, or I can modify one to look like that. And it's just the thing is, it really, you just got to sit and look at, like, you know, toy guns when you walk into a dollar store. And so much nowadays, they look more realistic now, and it's a cosplayer's dream come true. Because before, you're like, oh, well, I wanted like a Beretta, and I had to spend like 30-40 bucks on an airsoft gun for it. And now I can walk into like Dollar General and buy a Beretta toy gun that not only pulls trigger and it kicks back like an actual motion and makes the sound, it's orange tip. You paint a little bit and it'll look kind of like what you were looking for. It's like $5. So I mean, it's great. I've taken like a Barrett rifle and modified it all the way down to look like the boss's weapon from Metal Gear Solid 3 with the drum barrels, which I used duct tape rolls, and I put foam over them and, you know, Mod Podged it and painted it and everything. And it looks awesome. But yeah, I was gonna still say, you know, toy guns, Nerf guns, but, you know, actually put some time and effort into the Nerf gun. Don't just like, oh, hey, I got a Nerf Maverick gun and I spray painted it black. You know, put some effort into it. A little bit of work goes a long way, and it looks nice. I mean, it really does pay off to have a nice looking gun. And gauntlets. I've seen people take McDonald's plastic cups as bases for gauntlets and heat mold them in there. I've seen people take plastic buckets and do kind of like the Stormtrooper technique, where they'll sit and heat mold it and take tongs to mold it that way, and that way you have, like, you know, for cheap. I mean, plastic construction buckets at Lowe's or Menards are like, you know, $4 or $5 each, and compared to giant, in comparison to buying like giant rolls of like sheet plastic, you know, which might cost you $100 or something like that, and you just sit and you cut them down with some heavy grade, you know, snips or anything like that, or a torch or anything, and then you mold it to what you need. I mean, to me, it's just basically taking techniques like how a blacksmith would, but just with kind of the materials that's around. Or I've seen people take cardboard and metal packaging tape or metal vent repair tape. I've used that a lot. I've seen the guys from Mythbusters, you know, there's like their little prop thing, because, you know, they used to work for movies and made stuff like that. Him taking like metal vent tape and then putting it over, and then taking something to buff it out to it actually looks like worn and used metal. And I mean, you'd be surprised the tips and tricks that these guys do to make like official things for movies that is well within our budget range and our grasp. But still, it's adjusting wise. I mean, if I have to make something big and detailed and anything like that, I usually either do it on canvas or cardboard, or I either, well, you know, if I have the time or the foam for it, so I'll do it on cardboard and duct tape, like I did my Iron Man. But if I'm going to do something like legit and firm that I need to keep in my hands, like a sword or anything like that, I've been leaning more towards the wood base with the foam and the Mod Podge, which is basically kind of like a glue kind of fiberglass, kind of like that. It's worked wonders. I mean, it's really good, because I went and made a couple sets of Sword Art Online swords. One for the girlfriend for her brother, and then they made another set for Kyle Holman, because he was doing Kirito, and his wife was Asuna, and they're a cute little baby. Yep, they have a cute little kid. So, all right, I think I answered Garrett's one as best as I can, and if not, Garrett, you know, you and I can talk in more detail at ASIN about that. So, all right, next question. This one is from Michael. What is a proper cosplay question? My answer, 42. Next question. All right, this one's from Nathaniel. All right, this is a question that has gone along with the subject that's been kind of a touchy subject in the past, and I'm going to go into full detail as best as I can, and if you get offended about it, you know what? You're watching the wrong channel if you're getting offended. So, he goes, how do I cosplay my favorite character if they are black? I'm going to be right off the bat and sit and say the fact that, you know, daily I see people go back and forth about people should cosplay what they want, people should cosplay who they care, you know, they care for. There's no cosplay body size and whatnot. And I says, well, you know what? If you guys are going to go and sit and preach that daily, then you need to understand the fact that if someone wants to 100% cosplay that character, then you guys need to stop doing that bitch fit you do daily on Tumblr and everything when you guys get butthurt that someone goes and cosplays a black character and they do 100% makeup to look like a black character. Yes, there is a difference between blackface and black makeup. And anyone sits and goes, well, that's horrible and disrespectful and anything like that. You know what? Watch Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle white faces, and people laughed about that. Several months ago, a white girl went and did Michonne from The Walking Dead. And she did an amazing Hollywood-style makeup job to make her look exactly like the character, who was black. The chick who dressed as her was white. You know what? I have no problem with that, because to me, I see that as a sense of theater. I was a theater kid in high school and college. It's theater makeup. Now, if I'm going to walk up and dress up in blackface makeup, sure, go ahead, punch me right off the bat. But I'm not doing that. Don't sit and preach to people the fact that you can cosplay whatever you want, and then turn around and go, well, you kind of can, you kind of can. It's kind of like racism. If it's okay for a black person to say it, why is it not okay for a white person to say it? And if you're going to sit and say because it's bros or whatnot or anything like that, then you're preaching the wrong thing. Because you know what? The dude who played Kramer on Seinfeld put up a good point. It says if Mexicans can call Mexicans this, and if blacks can call blacks this, and if anyone else can call anyone else this, but it's racism when a white person does it, you guys are failing at what you're trying to do. So I say the same thing for cosplay. If a black person can cosplay a white person, and an Asian person can cosplay, a Latino person, or character, or whatnot, I don't see any problem as to why a white person can cosplay a black character. Okay? You cosplay who you want to. You cosplay who you feel is the character you represent with the most. And if you want to do makeup for it, I suggest if you're going to do it, do some research on it. Put some effort into it. Don't just straight up blackface because you're going to get your ass kicked at a con, but go for it. Do what you want. That's the best way I can sit and say it. All right, so the next one is, okay, this one's from Sheila. As I've known Sheila for a while. Awesome kids. I know you too, Danny. Hi, Danny. She goes, I've got a good one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years if I stay on my current course? Well, I don't know. That's kind of a hard question to decide. 5 years ago, cosplay-wise, I was in pretty regular masquerades and was cosplaying with some other groups, winning some pretty regular awards. And then I stepped away and I didn't do masquerades for a while and kind of stepped off the beaten path a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, really at this point right now, last October, I didn't think I would be YouTubing at all. I mean, I put the channel up in July and threw up a couple, videos and whatnot, and no one was really paying attention to them. And then got big in the Five Nights at Freddy's and threw up that one video on the parody of When Mom Isn't Home, but it was When Bonnie Isn't Home, and boom, it exploded. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not exactly an internet meme. I'm not going to say that, and I'm not Markiplier, I'm not Lord Minion, and I'm not, MySkerm or PewDiePie or whatnot. But you know what? I'm slowly growing because in a matter of 5 months, I've gone from 40 subscribers, which I had over the summer till about November, to 2,500 subscribers. So, I mean, I'm slowly growing every day, and it's just quicker and quicker. I mean, my channel's almost at 1 million views. I'm getting, I mean, I don't know. There's the term out there that's called cos famous, and if people know me well enough, they know that I don't exactly take that 100% seriously, but I kind of do and don't. To me, if you're cos famous, to me you're known. I mean, you can walk into a con 2 or 3 states away and people know who you are. They recognize your cosplay. Your cosplay is known. Your cosplay is shared on these sites. People look in and goes, oh, I know who that person is. To me, that's cos famous. Not, I threw in a wig and my picture got like 3 likes. Oh, I guess I must be cos famous now. No offense to people who do that, but I laugh every single time you guys post that. And people are like, well, that's mean that you do that. I'm like, it's not mean. It's kind of like, I learned how to ride a bike today. I must be an expert in riding bikes. And I'm like, you learned how to ride a bike today. No, I'm not here to be the expert telling you can and can't ride a bike. Because that's kind of what Tumblr does. Is, well, you don't know any better about this. And I says, no, I don't. I don't. But I've been riding a bike for a long while, and I'm really good at it. And people look at me and goes, you're really good at riding a bike. You riding a bike has inspired us to ride a bike, stuff like that. And I says, I guess I'm going to slightly assume that I know how to ride a bike. But that's okay. People on Tumblr know what they're talking about. Yep. Because, you know, they all have imaginary legal degrees, and they all have imaginary, you know, degrees in psychology and who knows and whatnot. You know, it's whatever convenient for the time. And, you know, all the social justice warriors are just like, hey, yeah, you know, got 99 problems and none of them's fact checking. But where do I see myself in 5 years? I mean, honestly, really, I really hope the fact to be doing more panels in 5 years. I really hope to, you know, add more to the list of, hey, being a guest to a convention. I got to be a guest last year for Midwest Cosmic Academy as a panelist guest, and I think I'm technically kind of officially a panelist guest again for Archon this year. I don't know. They never really officially say one way or not. Friend Allie is trying her hardest as an agent to conventions to try and get me booked. So who knows? We'll see where it goes. I would love to. I would love to get to a point in like in the next year or so to where I just go to these conventions all the time and teach panels. I got a panel going on right now called Let's Play Scary Games. I'm slowly adding to it. We just first recently tried it this year at Anime St. Louis. I have another panel that's in its second year. It's called Yami Yugi Reads Erotic Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan Fictions. And the fans fucking love it. Because the year before we had a packed room, and the year afterwards we had a packed room where people were even sitting on the floor. And it was awesome. We need a bigger location, bigger venue. And who knows? I mean, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh's booming back. Don't get me wrong. Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge and stuff like that, it helps. But just add to it, and you know, I've done stuff like duct tape and its many costume uses. And it's just, you know... more panels will be added on in there, cosplay workshops and stuff like that. Because I'm a firm believer of, you know, everyone goes to a con and they're like, oh, hey, look, you know, the cosplay guest is teaching a makeup panel, or they're teaching a wig panel. Oh, okay. I don't really do makeup or wigs for my cosplay, but alright, there's kind of the same stuff. I want to go into a convention and go to a panel that teaches me how to do cosplay weaponry, or guns, or armor, or swords. I want to go in and be able to actually do 90% of what cosplay is. I'm sorry to all those people who teach wig panels and anything like that. It's great, and I think it's a skill. It's amazing. But to 90% of us cosplayers, we don't fucking care about it. It's just kind of like, oh, okay. Those are the people that sit for 4 months and sculpt out a wig, and it's an amazing talent. But I suck at sculpting wigs. My fingers are too big, and that's why I use a lot of duct tape to make stuff like that, to counteract with that. So you've already lost me as an audience for a wig panel. I think they're amazing, and so on and so forth. There are cosplayers who spend way too much damn time on their wigs. I know a few in particular. I'm not saying names. And you get the makeup panels and anything like that. And I mean, to me, that's great, but really, the makeup panels are only going to benefit the 18-year-old girls that tried their hardest to look like guys. And I still don't understand that concept or that phase, because they're like, oh, they have to identify as that. To me, what's the freaking point of smashing your boobs in really hard? But, you know, that's a conversation for a later thing. But again, like I said, where do I want to see myself in 5 years? I would love to see myself be cost famous. And where I get to go to conventions on a regular basis, because, you know, when you get to go as a guest or a panelist guest, they pay your way, and I would fucking love that. So let's see if we have any other questions. I think we might have one more. Alright, we do. This last one is from Andrew. He says, what is the best way to organize a group cosplay? Okay, I've been doing this for a long while, so this one's pretty easy. Say you're doing a group project, or like say you all like, hey, let's all dress up as the cast from Kill la Kill, or if you're going to be doing like a group photo shoot, so on and whatnot. Usually what I do is I suggest like a good 6 months before, and I says, hey, you know, I got this idea of I want to do a cosplay photo shoot, and people will be like, they're always going to come in and go like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do this, and you're probably going to get about 10-15 people come on in and go, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. First off, accept anyone who wants to do multiples of characters, because, you know, in 2 or 3 months, people are going to get bored and forget about this. And then they're going to be like, oh, what? Oh, no, I forgot, and I made plans for other things like that. So you take the serious ones, I mean, the ones that are really into it. You give themselves some time, you at least get a 2 or 3 month leeway in between so they can order outfits or make outfits or stuff like that. And then kind of sit and decide the fact, if are you doing this for a skit, are you doing this just to generally take pictures, anything like that. Kind of have a design date of what you want to aim for and go for and stuff like that. Like, say again, like you're doing Kill la Kill or anything like that, and say like one person wants to be Senketsu, and one person wants to be Ryoko, and person wants to be Satsuki, and one person wants to be Gamagori and stuff like that. And then you just sit and you go, hey, okay, we got so much time, we got to make it by this. We go and kind of do a couple group things and says, hey, you know, this is kind of what money we're gonna have to budget for each one of these and that. And some of the previous ones I worked on, you know, sometimes the group members like, oh, hey, we all need these props, and one person goes, okay, I can help make these, or someone goes, oh, I need these wigs, and someone goes, I know where we can order these, and you always collaborate. I mean, constantly talk about it. Don't go like 2 or 3 months and don't talk, and then, but you know, don't sit and pester them every day. Hey, you want to do this? Like, you know, hit up at least once or twice a week. It's not hard to go like, hey, you know, here's some ideas I had for this and anything like that, and it works out really well. Now, if you're doing like a cosplay gathering at a convention, best bet right off the bat, get a microphone or a megaphone or something like that, something that you can talk over people. People, when they go to gatherings at conventions, they're stupid. Because they all want to go there, and they all want to sit and go, they're all peacocking. They're like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Now, when you have about 50 people to 100 people sitting there doing that, it's going to be a fucking clusterfuck. Anime Central is a good example of this because no one's organized when they do the shoots. There's a small handful that do. I know them well and everything, but they get incredibly frustrated when they're trying to get, you know, people to sit and organize to it, and people are all like, well, I want to do my pose, or you got people that are jerking off over in the corner over there because they have to suck face at a convention because that's, you know, apparently they spent hundreds of dollars on a costume just to come in front of a bunch of people and make out. You know what you can do? You can do that at home for free. A lot of people spend a lot of hard time and money to come to these things, to work on these costumes, get the pictures they want, not to have you to jump right in front of them and suck face on camera. And it's just kind of like, you know what? That's what the 18 plus panels are for and everything else like that, not the photo shoots. If they're going to get to a point in the photo shoot and it's like, okay, well, let's start doing the romancy kind of stuff like that, leave it for that. Don't just start randomly making out in front of a thing. I'm sorry, that kind of pisses me off because you're just kind of like, hey, I want to come here and I want to get pictures, say, you know, I'm going to a Marvel shoot, anything like that, and all of a sudden Hawkeye and Bruce Banner start making out in the front, and I'm just like, okay, you're taking focus away from everyone else who worked hard on their stuff and anything like that, and you're just being a jackass now. But talk over people, be open to suggestions, bring a list, research what kind of pairings or anything like that. Kind of know your material, what you're going into. You know, like, hey, you know, we want Captain and Iron Man, you know, stuff like face-off pictures of Civil War stuff, or, you know, hey, we want Spider-Man and Mary Jane, or we want, you know, Bruce Banner, and then we want the Transform Hulk, stuff like that. You know your parents. Because, you know, a lot of times, you know, you get in shoots where people like, oh, okay, we want the relationship pairing. So, like, oh, you go to Sword Art Online, and like, oh, we want Kirito and Asuna, or we want Kirito and Liz, or Kirito and Leafa, or Kirito and the Sandwich King. I'm a big shipper. I think it's pretty canon of Kirito and Sandwich Kun. Yeah, I like that. I like the sandwich action there. But yeah, that's just simply, you know, and I'm probably rambling on, and it's like 6:30 in the morning right now, and it's Free Comic Book Day. I know this probably won't get released on Free Comic Book Day. I might be, but I got to go don Iron Man on in a couple hours and at the comic shop, and I'm going to be exhausted today. So, but no, I wanted to get this out for you guys. I'm trying to at least make sure I can do this once a day. I don't know when I get to Anime Central if I'm going to have the internet to upload these once a day. So you guys might get really shitty rips off my phone. So, but I hope I answered all of this and anything like that. I really enjoy getting asked questions like this. I really do. I've actually had a lot of people come forward and sit and say, hey, you know, we're legit watching your videos. We're not just like, oh, hey, we're supportive, we're just going to push like. But if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. Just share this or put comments down there in the comment section of what you like or what you enjoy. I'm going to do more of these. I'm going to try and do a couple of these a week. I enjoy doing the Let's Plays and throwing stuff like that. I'm going to be working on, I think I downloaded like an MLG gaming kind of thing. To me, I think they're fucking hilarious. I like them because it's... I like the whole Snoop Dogg, like, smoke weed every day. To me, it's catchy. You know, I like the tune and everything like that, or I like the whole Shrek or the Mountain Dew 360 no scope. Brah! stuff like that. And I'm in the process of friends helping me get a stronger editing program. So I really hope in there, because I've been filming some stuff like bloopers, things like that, and I find it really awesome because I think it's going to be quite funny. So, but like I said, I hope you guys all enjoy what you were watching today. We ran pretty long. I think this is the longest video to date that I have done. But anyway, like I said, thank you all for watching. I hope I answered all your questions. And until we see you guys next time, thank you for watching. Bye.